Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Let's check out the Gilmore girl.
Like my friend Anita Krishna in Canada, she worked for a global news or a big news network. She started to ask just regular questions. She's like, "Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? We're a news organization. Isn't that what we do as a news organization?" And she got fired for that, of course.
Crazy.
I don't get tired of watching that. Thank you, Jimmy Dore. Yeah, I did work for Global News for 20 years. If anybody who follows me on this channel, or if you're new to this channel, I worked for them for 20 years as a newscast director. And then I got fired when I questioned the COVID vaccine narrative that we were reporting. This is a shot of me in the control room. So I was a newscast director, cutting cameras, dealing with reporters, dealing with anchors, putting your newscast to air. And I worked on many different newscasts, like the 6 o'clock news, the 5 morning shows, global, national, you name it. Today I'm going to talk about Rachel Gilmore only because sometimes people send me stuff about her. I'm going to tell you this honestly. I don't pay any attention to her. I've never watched any of her reports. I barely know who she is. I don't find her interesting. And anytime I've seen her, I've just seen her do videos that I don't even watch with her pointing at stuff, like those TikTok videos where they do this. So, which that's fine. I watch those. I really like Ian Carroll's videos when he does them, but I don't pay attention to her. And I'm only I'm going to talk about her because she testified somewhere, which I'll get to later. But I want to say, from my perspective as a former Global News employee who worked in newsrooms, I don't consider her a journalist. Like, I don't consider her a proper journalist or a reporter. To me, a reporter is somebody who goes out with a camera guy, you cut and you file your story. You're filing your story on deadline for a newscast. You're working with newsrooms and producers tightly, like you're filing reports. She was an online journalist or an online reporter. She was probably like a web updatey person, and then they just make them journalists. Because we had some of those at the Global Newsroom in Burnaby. There were people that were hired just to update the website, like make sure the news articles were up to date on the website. And then all of a sudden, they were writing articles. I could name their names, but I won't. But they were really not journalists. Like, so it was never, they were just online writers. And so then people sort of refer to them as journalists. I don't even think of them as journalists. And as a matter of fact, before 2020, she was not even a blip on anyone's radar. And for someone like me, this is going to sound totally arrogant. I don't deal with people like her. Gosh, that sounds totally arrogant. But what I mean is, I work with the anchors, the reporters, the producers, the cameramen, and technical crew, technical staff. I don't work with the online writers. We don't have anything to do with them, and nor are they even like in our radar or in our realm of thinking. I think Rachel Gilmore became popular. I don't know if she became popular, but she became someone people love to hate because of all her terrible reporting, particularly about James Topp. Remember James Topp? He was the Canadian soldier who spoke out against the COVID-19 mandates, and he walked across the country to draw attention to that. And I believe that Global News, like, shat all over him and did a terrible article on him, sort of linking him to be some sort of, I don't know, Nazi or something like that. I don't even know what they said. He actually faced a court martial. And I think there was a point where Maxime Bernier, who I think is pretty cool, at least he was speaking out from the beginning, and Pierre Poilievre walked alongside him, as they should, because you should be proud to walk alongside him because he actually stood up for something. Okay, he was a soldier. He fought for your country, and he stood up for something. He doesn't deserve to have the likes of this little Gilmore girl criticizing him. And I think that James Topp actually served Global a notice of libel over these claims that he was a white supremacist or what have you. I interviewed James Topp a long time ago when he was walking. I'll find the video and link it in there. I remember we kept getting cut off while he was walking, so I can't remember how good the production was, but I remember interviewing him. Then I thought he was a solid stand-up guy. Okay, now, because people are sending me this video, I'm going to have a look at this meeting with Rachel Gilmore. She was invited to a meeting meeting number 135, Standing Committee of Public Safety and National Security. So she was speaking there or testifying there. Why would you be asking her on public safety and national security? Do you not have another proper reporter that you can ask or get testimony from? I don't know. I'm going to watch this video with you guys. I have not seen this video, so this is always fun. Reaction video. Okay, so let's see. And I'm going to grab the video from a guy whose channel I really like, This Guy's Garage. So I hope that you don't mind that I'm using your video. I hope it's okay. It's only 5 minutes long.
Pursuant to Standing Order 1082 and the motion adopted on September 19th, 2024, the committee resumes its study on Russian interference and disinformation campaigns in Canada. Rachel Gilmore, Ms. Gilmore, an independent journalist.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. This is obviously a very important topic, and I have some big feelings about it.
Oh my gosh. That's the beginning? That's how she starts? Hey, everyone. I've got some big feelings about it. What are you, like at Earl's having a Bellini? Oh my gosh. Okay.
So to kick things off, I'm sure you all remember the Freedom Convoy. Yeah?
Oh, no, that thing?
Well, as part of my coverage at the time, I joined several Telegram channels and groups where organizers and supporters gathered to exchange everything from planning details to fringe conspiracy theories. And you might not have realized this, but it was actually just days after the convoy. Actually, you guys probably do know this. Just days after the convoy that Russia invaded Ukraine. So it was really interesting, an interesting time to be monitoring all of those Telegram channels, because all of a sudden, the ones that have been posting about the convoy and COVID, groups with tens of thousands of members primed to distrust experts, government, media, and institutions, shifted to posting about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Often claim.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, that the Freedom Convoy people are so easily influenced that will all of a sudden shift what we think about to talk about Russia? I'll tell you what happened is the news cycle spun in an instant. You remember that all of a sudden it's like, I care about the current thing. It's like all of a sudden COVID, boom, Russia invades Ukraine. News cycle changed in a heartbeat. Trudeau doing press conferences with his little Christian standing beside him. They flipped that news cycle so fast, like a house on fire. And so maybe people on Telegram and other channels that were born out of the desire for free speech, because people were getting banned on other platforms, that there had to be Telegram channels and Signal and other things to come up so people could talk. People were probably like, look at how quick they spun this bullshit. Like the news cycle just changed from one thing to another so obviously that if you didn't get you were being played, you were a big dummy. Anyway.
Posting about the convoy and COVID, groups with tens of thousands of members primed to distrust experts, government, media, and institutions, shifted to posting about Russia's invasion of Ukraine, often claiming that Russia's invasion was actually justified because of reasons the government and the mainstream media won't tell you. This illustrates something that experts have said time and time again. Russia identifies the areas where we're most prone to polarization and pours gasoline on the fire that we already built ourselves. Don't just take my word for it.
So she's very distracting because she's so coquettish. She's so flirtatious. She's so, oh, hi, everybody. It's just like she's literally at a bar or something, or giving a wedding speech or something. There's something about her delivery here that is way too casual and too valley girlish to be testifying at committee. It's extremely distracting. Who asked her to testify?
For it, though, you can take it from Russia. In the documents the DOJ released in September in the US, we saw details from Russia's Good Old USA project and its guerrilla media campaign in the United States. Those documents show Russia identified existing sources of polarization to then exploit. The, quote, campaign topics they plan to focus on included stuff like what they called the, quote, threat of crime coming from people of color and immigrants, and, quote, risk of job loss for white Americans, and what they called, quote, privileges for people of color, perverts, and disabled. So that gives you a sense of the kinds of divisions Russia focused on exacerbating. It's got a lot in common with what I would call the
Hey, Russia doesn't have time to. You really think that Russia gives a shit about what people in Canada are posting? Are you listening to yourself? They don't have time to give a shit about what we're posting about immigrants coming to Canada. They're not even remotely interested. Do you even hear yourself?
the right-wing grifter sphere and what comes out of there, where people rail against immigration, attack diversity and inclusion, pearl clutch about anti-white racism, and oppose trans rights. Like, those are the kinds of topics you hear from people like Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, and Lauren Southern. And those are the same influencers who ended up on the payroll at Tenet Media, which Russia was allegedly funding to spread its talking points. If we accept the premise that Russia
I know Lauren Southern testified, and apparently she really killed it. I didn't watch that either. I'm sorry to say, so I can't comment on it. But yeah, okay.
never influenced their editorial decisions, as these influencers claimed after the fact, that implies these folks are so good at dividing and polarizing Western society that Russia likely saw it as a good.
You are good at dividing and polarizing. That's all the news did. That's all my former employer, Global News, did, was divide. Don't you remember? Don't have people over for Christmas. Stay 6 feet apart. You can't go into this old folks' home. You got to dress yourself up like you're Dustin Hoffman in Outbreak to go hug your grandma. You were the divider. You're you're not being inclusive. This isn't inclusive. And we want to use this bathroom. We want you to, you're not the gender you're assigned at birth. You're the divider.
Good investment to just fund them to make more of their organic content. Yikes. When we indulge in divisive, conspiratorial, and often hateful rhetoric, we are doing Russia a favor. Because a society that doesn't believe in institutions, in science, in journalism, in the validity of experts, in the value of taking care of each other, and the importance of a shared reality is a society where democracy and stability is under threat. So, a note to the politicians who use this same kind of divisive and conspiratorial rhetoric: consider what it means that Russia engages in the same tactics when it tries to undermine our democracy. Don't make it easier for them. Breaking up Google's monopoly and ensuring advertisers know what they're funding would be one incredibly effective way of ripping a profit motive from several disinformation websites. With that, I am happy to take your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Gilmore. I now invite Mr. Jolicoeur.
The rationale behind this is that any...
Sorry, sir,
Yes?
we're going to suspend.
Oh, was it a fire alarm or something? Meeting adjourned? That's how it ended? Oh, no questions. We didn't get to hear her I didn't get to hear her answer any questions. That's so bizarre. I wonder if someone pulled the fire alarm on purpose because they thought that whole display was so ridiculous. That was very bizarre. That seemed like a giant waste of time. And the whole Valley Girl presentation, that didn't do anything for me. There's nothing in there. And whatever she was saying about the Google ads, I don't know. I'm not the expert on Google ads or whatever. Anyway, that's Rachel Gilmore. I mean, she can do her own thing, whatever. There's space around for everyone. I just have to say that, I mean, I don't wish her any harm or anything like that. I just don't find her interesting at all. So don't take seriously what she says. But this notion of misinformation and disinformation I find so ridiculous, because the only source of misinformation is the mainstream news. They are the only source. They are the only gang out there that refuse to tell you the truth. Anyway, thanks for watching this Gilmore Girl video along with me. You can share your comments and thoughts. I don't have much to say about her. That was so short and very meaningless. It gave me nothing. I just was more struck by her mannerisms. Anyway, if you like what I'm getting up to here on this channel, please subscribe. It helps me a lot. It helps move the channel along and push the algo in the right place. And more videos for you to come. And let me know if there's a video you want me to work on. Somebody asked me to interview a conservative leader, which I will do. I'm also going to do a video very soon on why we have such a terrible doctor shortage. Okay, so watch out for those. Those are coming up soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good night.